Hi dear students, one of our viewer Nagappa asked us to make a video on works of William Shakespeare or make a chronology of the works of William Shakespeare, and hence we are presenting this video for you. Dear students, we have started a series on history of English literature, and this is the next part in the same series, and we will cover the chronology or works of William Shakespeare with its division. So let's start. As you all know that William Shakespeare is a very prolific personality, not only in English literature but in the history of world literature, and hence it is very important to understand his works, how we can divide his works or how scholars study his works till today. Dear students, here first we will talk about the classification of the works of William Shakespeare, how we can classify them. Then we will discuss about the sources of the works of William Shakespeare, from where he borrowed the material, and then directly we will go through the chronology. And we have made four major divisions in the understanding of William Shakespeare's plays. For example, we have made early period, which is we can say that very important, where he experimented a lot. Second is the development period, then maturity, and the last we have fourth period. So we will talk about all these four periods in the works of William Shakespeare. Hash 36, History of English Literature, Chronology of Shakespeare's work. Now, dear students, we are not going to cover only plays of William Shakespeare, but we will also talk about the narrative poems composed by William Shakespeare and sonnets too. So, here, complete works of William Shakespeare. Very first, let's understand the classification of the works of William Shakespeare. So here we have two major divisions according to source and according to dramatic type. Here very first according to source. Now if you look at the works of William Shakespeare or the plays of William Shakespeare, you understand that William Shakespeare borrowed his material from Holinshed's Chronicles of England, Ireland and Scotland, and again we have Plutarch's Lives of the Poets is very important work composed by Plutarch, and most of the material is derived from these two major sources by William Shakespeare. One is Holinshed's Chronicles and the second is Plutarch's Lives. Now, dear students, according to this source, we have historical plays, second legendary or partly historical plays, and third fictional plays. So, majorly we can divide William Shakespeare's works according to its source from where it is borrowed, like historical plays or partly historical plays, legendary plays. We also have fictional plays, and again we have second classification or the second source of classification, that is according to dramatic type. And here we can divide his works like number one tragedy, number two comedy, number three tragic comedy, and number four historical plays. Other than this, there are again many categories in which you can divide his plays. For example, the psychological plays, or where you find the psychological elements in the plays. So it is based on the scholar who is studying William Shakespeare or how he can divide the works. But here we have major two divisions. One is according to source and the second is dramatic type. So dramatic type is more famous when we discuss about William Shakespeare's works or basically Shakespeare's plays. Here dramatic types play very important role. For example, very commonly we have tragedies, we have comedies, and we have tragic comedies, and with it we also have historical plays. So his four tragedies, for example, Macbeth, Othello, Hamlet, King Lear, these are very famous, and these four tragedies are called black tragedies or dark tragedies composed by William Shakespeare. Now, dear students, if you look at the works of William Shakespeare, basically it is performed in the on the stage, and then it is printed. So there is gap between the performance and the printing or the publication, and hence we will include the dates with its first performance. Here we have Shakespeare's complete works published in two major works. For example, we have first folio, the complete works of William Shakespeare, and second folio. The first folio appeared in 1623, and it included 36 plays, and the title of this first folio is Mr. William Shakespeare's Comedies, Histories and Tragedies, and it is published by John Hemmings and Henry Condell. So these were the colleagues of William Shakespeare who worked with William Shakespeare, and when William Shakespeare died in 1616, after that, after 7 years, 1623, his colleagues or friends published his complete works, and this has become a milestone in the history of English literature and world literature, because for the first time 36 plays appeared in the market, and they have a very differently published in the first folio. And then Shakespeare became famous after his death with this publication, because complete works included in this folio, and this has become the major milestone in the history of English literature. Second folio appeared in 1632. It is also based on the first folio, but there are 1700 changes made in the first folio, and some plays also included in the second folio. So this is the basic printing or publication of works of William Shakespeare. First folio 1623 and second folio 1632. So these dates are important. Now dear students, let's understand how these works appeared. His narrative poems, plays, sonnets, different types of works. So we have divided again these works into major four periods, so that we can understand the chronology of the works of William Shakespeare. Very first period is first period, and it is called as early experiment. And in this period we have two narrative poems. One is Venus and Adonis, published in 1593, and second is Rape of Lucrece, again a narrative poem published in 1594. So these poems also are important, but the plays are most important composition of William Shakespeare. Next, dear students, in the same first period, we have his plays. 9 plays we have included in this first period to understand the chronology. Now, here we have the date of first performance and the date of first print. Here, very first, we have 1590 to 91, Henry the Sixth Part Second, and it is assumed first printed in 1594. Second, we have 1590 to 91, Henry the Sixth Part Third. Again, it is said to be printed in 1594. Dates are not confirmed. The question mark shows that these dates are not confirmed, but many scholars consider these dates. Next, we have 1591 to 92, Henry the Sixth Part First. It is published in the first folio 1623. Again, the date of performance 1592 to 93, Richard III 1597. Next we have 1592-93, Comedy of Errors 1623, first folio. Then we have 1593 to 94, Titus Andronicus. It is said to be printed in 1594. The date of publication may be different. We have included the date of print because the date of print shows that the work is composed before that date and performed also before that date. So the date of print is important. First performance and then printing and then publication. This kind of process we have regarding the plays of William Shakespeare, because William Shakespeare was not very conscious regarding the printing of his works in his lifetime, and again in publishing those works. Later, after his death, his friends and colleagues published his works in the form of folio in 1623, and hence we have these different types of dates. Next, we have 1593-94, Taming of the Shrew, published 1623. 1594-95, Two Gentlemen of Verona, 1623, and again 1594-95, Love's Labour's Lost, 1598. So these are the 9 plays included in the first period or the early experiment. We can say that these plays were the early experiment of William Shakespeare. Next, second period, and it is called as development, because in this place we can find some maturity and development in the writing and performance of William Shakespeare. Here we have performance 1594-95, Romeo and Juliet, printed in 1597. Again 1595-96 Richard II, published in 1597 or printed 1595-96 A Midsummer Night's Dream 1600, 1596-97 King John 1623. Then we have 1596-97 The Merchant of Venice 1600, 1597-98 Henry the Fourth Part 1 1598. Again 1597-98 Henry the Fourth Part 2nd 1600, 1598-99 Much Ado About Nothing 1600, and 1598-99 Henry the Fifth 1600. Now dear students, if you look at all these plays, again here we have included 9 plays. In the first period 9 plays, in the second period, which is called as development, 9 plays. Now in these plays you find histories and comedies. Early Shakespeare composed histories and comedies, and those were very famous. Later he turned to tragicomedy or tragedies. In this period he composed very fine works, and this period is called as, in the development of works of William Shakespeare, maturity and gloom. Now he composed sonnets in this third period. 154 sonnets are very important, composed by William Shakespeare. Those are love sonnets, those are dedicated to some dark lady, as we know. And again some of the sonnets were dedicated to his friend or friendship, and these sonnets were published in 1600. Very famous sonnets we have, and still we find these sonnets have place in the syllabus in various universities and institutions. Now dear students, in this third period we have his mature plays, and the dates of performance are 1599 1600 Julius Caesar, published 1623, again with the same performance date, As You Like It 1623, Twelfth Night 1623. Then we have 1600 to 1 Hamlet, printed in 1605. So Hamlet is a tragedy, world famous tragedy, and still today this is the most famous tragedy in English literature, Hamlet. And we find different types of levels of Hamlet, and we have the scholars still studying the course of Hamlet, the inner content of Hamlet, the psychological impact of Hamlet, and hence Hamlet is one of the best tragedies composed by William Shakespeare. Next, we have 1600 to 01 The Merry Wives of Windsor, printed in 1602. Again, 1601 to 2 Troilus and Cressida, 1609. 1602 to 3 All's Well That Ends Well, 1623, printed or published. And again, in the same period, that is third, maturity and gloom, 7 plays are included. So in this period, you find 14 plays complete. Here we have 16045 Measure for Measure, published 1623, 1604 to 5 Othello 1622, 1605 to 06 King Lear 1608, 1605 to 6 Macbeth 1623, 1606 to 7 Antony and Cleopatra 1623, 1607 to 8 Coriolanus 1623, 1607 to 8 Timon of Athens 1623. Now dear students, in this third period we have all major 4 tragedies, Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, and Othello. So these tragedies were composed in the third period, and this is called as the mature period of William Shakespeare. And we find the maturity in his writing, the maturity in his thought in all these plays, and then these plays became world famous. So third period we need to understand, and in this period all the 4 black tragedies or dark tragedies are composed and performed on the stage. And the last period, here we have fourth period, and it is called as late experiments, and we have the performance 1608 to 9 Pericles, printed in 1609, 1609 to 10 Cymbeline 1623, 1610 to 11 The Winter's Tale 1623, 1611 to 12 The Tempest 1623, 1612 to 13 Henry the 8th 1623, and 1612 to 13 The Two Noble Kinsmen 1634. Now dear students, this last play, Two Noble Kinsmen, is composed in collaboration with John Fletcher, his contemporary, or we can say his colleague. Now dear students, if you look at all the list of the plays of William Shakespeare, we find that he composed 38 plays. Before it is considered that he composed 37 plays, but the last play, The Two Noble Kinsmen, is included in this series, and hence it became 38 plays because it is in collaboration with John Fletcher. So we need to understand this point. Now, dear students, this is the chronology of the works of William Shakespeare. You find when did it perform on the stage and when did it publish or print. So both dates we have tried to include in this series. Still, if you have any problem, any issue, you can directly comment me in the comment section. I will answer to your query. Dear students, thank you very much for watching the complete video.